93.7 The Fan. It's time for the Derek Shelton Show. Now, the Derek Shelton Show on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
Ron, it is indeed time for the Derek Shelton Show, the maiden voyage for 2022. The Pirates managers on the Nemacolin fan hotline. And Shelty, let's come clean right off the top. Were you forced to take us as the only show at the Fan, or is this your choice? Do you like us that much?
Like you that much. 100% by choice. Yeah, I mean, yesterday morning I was on, but I couldn't wait to get back on with you guys. I mean, what's better than this?
I can't think of much. Ron?
Derek, how the hell are you, man? How was your off season? What fun did you do? Did you have any great trips? What's been going on?
No, my off season was good. I mean, it was probably a couple weeks longer than I would wanted it to be, but it was nice. Family time. The only trip I took, I went out and spent about 7 days in Steamboat, Colorado, and fell about as many times as you could fall going skiing because I'm terrible. And but other than that, you know, just kind of hung out a little bit and spent time with my kids.
Even in the wintertime, are the hot springs up and running there, the natural hot springs in Colorado? Did you jump in any of those, Shelty?
No, you know what? I've been there the last 2 years, and that is the one thing that I've missed both times. We did not go to the hot springs, but this is an annual thing now with a group of my friends. So I've kind of almost been shamed into like the fact that I've been there twice and I have not been to the hot springs.
Any new ideas for the show this year? Last year we tried breaking news with Shelty. It didn't seem like that went too well.
You didn't give us one damn scoop the whole year.
Not one.
Not one.
That's actually true, except for a basketball game in the clubhouse and who was winning that.
That's the only thing you gave us. Come on, you got to come clean a little more this year.
Yeah, all right. I got to think about that. I'm actually a little worried about Cookie. I mean, I heard some remnants of like lost credentials or something going on there, and I didn't know what that story was, so I was actually a little concerned.
Lost credentials. Now you got me going. I don't know what you're talking
about.
Are
your credentials out there on eBay or somewhere?
I don't think so. Now you're breaking news about me, Shelty, that I don't even know.
That was the word I got to ask you about lost credentials, so I'm going to have to get to the bottom of that. We're going to have to figure that out.
I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
Wasn't there an issue at one point with your credentials being put on eBay, I thought?
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that's about, Derek. All right. Well,
when are we going to get Ron to call you Shelty? Can we?
I don't know.
No, this is getting ridiculous. You call him Cookie. He doesn't call you Shelty.
I definitely are going to be able to shake your hand. They allow us into the clubhouse now, right? Does that mean we can come in and see you?
You can come in and see me. There was media in our clubhouse yesterday, so I mean, you guys are my two favorite guys in Pittsburgh, and I still haven't got a chance to shake your hand.
That might be why we're your favorites.
You are going to get the chance now that we can come and see you. Hopefully with COVID in the rear view mirror here. So you're getting started down there. How much? The 2-week delay. How much of that does it put you back? How much? Do you have to, condense now to get ready for opening day?
Yeah, I mean, normally we have 10 days before we play a game. This year we have 3, which, is very fast. So I think a lot of it is just making sure we're very aware of where guys' bodies are at because of soft tissue injuries and moving forward into games on Friday. We're at day 2 and we had a little bit of a hiccup. We had a ton of rain here last night, so we have one field that's not usable just because of the amount of rain we got. So we're adapting and adjusting, and I think as we get into, probably the first 6 or 7 games, it's just going to be the story of making sure guys are on their feet in spikes, getting live looks at, not with the pitchers throwing and then the hitters just, seeing pitches.
How is Bryan Hayes? How is everything health-wise with him, and what do you expect to see this season?
Health-wise, he looks great. Fully healed. He's moving around, smile on his face, which is good. When you have something that's in your hand, it's something that can linger for, a year. And to see Key with a smile on his face and moving around and healthy, it's good. And I expect him to have a really solid year. I think last year he battled through a lot of things, and we saw glimpses of, the player he can be offensively, and I think he's just going to continue to improve. And I mean, defensively, this guy's one of the elite guys in the game. And I mean, that goes, he didn't win the Gold Glove because he didn't have enough opportunities. But, he wins the Fielding Bible Award. This guy's a special player defensively. And I think we're going to continue to see growth out of him offensively now that he's healthy.
You brought in a couple guys this week, Vogelbach and was it Hembry? Can you talk about what you see from them and why you brought them in?
Yeah, with Hembry, just adding pieces to our bullpen. I think, especially in this year, we're gonna have to have innings that we can facilitate, and he's a veteran guy, so that's a nice addition to our bullpen. And with Bogey, it's with the DH being in play now, just continuing to acquire good hitters. And we thought he fit our group well, not only on the field but in the clubhouse. This guy's a wonderful human being. Everybody that we've talked to says he's one of the best teammates, so that provides us, with a little bit of things on both sides of the ball, or both sides of the field.
Can we assume, maybe we can't assume anything, but I'll phrase the question that way anyway, Shelty, that David Bednar is going to be the closer?
No, I don't think we're going to name who our closer is going to be. I think Bednar will pitch leverage innings at the back end, and we'll kind of figure it out. I mean, last year there were times that he did close, and there were times he pitched in the eighth. And I think as we continue through this right now, we'll probably continue to do that.
Well, that brings up a question. Watching you manage, maybe you don't believe in the traditional view of a closer. Do you believe that if you have your best guy in your bullpen, that he should be used in what you think is the highest leverage situation, or is there still part of you that believes you need to have a guy for that ninth inning and it should be the same guy?
Well, I think if there's some guys out there that have done it for a long time and really established and they've set themselves apart. But I think to your first point is, at times we have to play to the leverage. We may have to use our best guy in a different situation because that is the most important part of the game. And that's something that we will continue to look at. I think we did that with David a little bit last year. Near the end of the year, we picked our spots where we thought it was the best situation, the best matchup for him. And I think moving forward, we'll continue to do that, at least in the short term.
We're talking to Pirates manager Derek Shelton. It's the first installment of the Derek Shelton Show for this season.
All right, Derek, you got the DH this year. And obviously, I guess Vogelbach is one guy that is a candidate. Who else is a candidate for that job? Is Oshie a candidate? And how much different is it going to be managing with the DH?
Well, yeah, I think Yoshi will be somebody we'll see in there. There's a chance we could see Michael Chavis in that role. And then, we could honestly rotate it through just a regular position player getting a day off and keeping him in the lineup. And the difference is going to be, I had more experience in the major leagues with the DH in the game. We did it in 2020 during the COVID year. So I think the dynamic that changes it is just continue to lengthen out, not only how you're going to set your lineup, but with the 3-batter rule, how you're attacking, knowing that you're going to have a hitter in that 9 spot. So attacking the bottom half of the order with your pitching becomes a little bit different now because you don't have the pitcher spot, or you're not playing, the chess game with who pinch hits in that spot.
Refresh my memory from last year, whether you liked starting the guy on second base in extra innings and the 7-inning doubleheaders. It looks like we're going back to traditional baseball, which I'm all in favor of. I believe you really liked one of those things last year, though, didn't you?
Yeah, the 7-inning doubleheader was something that I was a proponent of last year. And, I think that was as much just coming into the year with where we were and making sure we took care of pitchers. But, going back to a 9-inning doubleheader doesn't bother me at all. There is a little traditionalist in me and having the games. And we're going to have some of those this year just because of the fact of making up some games. So it's going to be fun. Managing a 7-inning game gets really fast, and so now we're getting back to just traditional baseball. And in terms of the other rule, I don't know how I feel about, I guess I do have concerns at times about games getting lengthened out, but, the other thing is you want to make sure you give yourself the best chance to win every night, and the matchup of how you're using your pitchers can change now with the fact of, you're having that clean inning.
How do you view, at this point, what is a quality start? What do you expect out of your starters? It just seems like over time, sort of slowly, the definition of that has changed so much, Shelty, where, you get a 5-inning start and people want to have a ticker tape parade. But is that what you want out of your starters? What do you tell them? Give us 5 good innings and we're okay?
I don't think we put an innings on it. I think it's get as many outs as possible. Get as many outs as possible and be as efficient as possible. Now, there's one thing where that does change, going back to the National League question, where sometimes in the National League game the decision's made for you just because you have to score runs. But we're not looking at it in any way in terms of, hey, we're asking you to get us 5 innings, we're asking you to get us 6 innings. We're asking you to get as many outs as possible with your best stuff and work off that. And I honestly think, this year more than any year, especially in April, you may see it be extremely non-traditional just because of the lack of time to get guys ready and how you're going to build your bullpen, not just with the Pirates, but throughout the game, how you're going to build your bullpen, where your starters are going to be at, the health of your starters. I definitely think we'll see, things be more non-traditional. But honestly, the game is getting that way. You're not seeing the 115, 7-inning, 8-inning pitcher anymore, just because the value of an out is so much different.
Well, we've also seen, the analytics seem pretty clear that the third time through a lineup, the numbers go way up for the hitters. So how inclined are you in a game, Shelty, if a guy's having a really good game and he's about to go through the third time around, just to pull the plug there as sort of a preemptive measure? How do you go about making that decision?
I think you use your eyes. I think that's the biggest thing. You make a decision on what that guy's doing, how his stuff is trending. The one thing that's changed in the game now is we can monitor how stuff plays. And not only from how hitters react to it, but through data. And we have to make sure that we use that data to make, the best decisions. And that's not to say if a guy's not going that we're not going to let him go, if his stuff continues to play. But that also means that if we see that we think we're going to get a tick down, even though he's got guys out, that we may make a move there.
Derek, I guess you're like most teams looking for starting pitching, and is it wide open at this point of spring training? Is there anybody that you can say right now is definitely going to be in your rotation?
I would say Quintana is going to be in our rotation. That would probably be, the one guy for sure. Other than that, it's pretty open. We have a lot of innings to fill, and going off the previous question, there may be guys that have been starters that pitch in different roles because of innings. And so I think the one thing that we've talked about and the one clear message we've given to our group is there's going to be a ton of opportunity in our camp, for innings, for at-bats, and, people are going to have to step up and seize those.
So Mitch Keller's not a lock for the rotation?
I would say we have nobody else besides Quintana that's a lock for the rotation.
All right, following that up with Keller, because he came in with a lot of hype. Derek, what do you want to see from him this year that maybe you didn't see last year?
Continuing to pound the strike zone. We know Mitch has got really good stuff, and we've seen it play. And the one thing that has plagued him is not putting the ball on the plate and being aggressive. And we need him to be aggressive and go right after guys. And you guys saw the same stuff I saw in the wintertime on social media with where his velocity was at and how it was. He threw his first live BP the other day, and the ball came out of his hand really clean. The stuff was crisp, so that's a really good sign. And when you see Mitch, he looks good. His body looks good. He's starting to grow into his body, and he looks strong, and that's an important thing for a guy that we expect to handle innings.
Obviously, physically, he has the talent, just like you said. But how about mentally and confidence-wise? To me, he looks like a guy that he needs to put together 4 or 5 good starts in a row to really feel good about himself. And how much would that help him to be able to do something like that?
Yeah, I think that is important. And I think with all young players, being mentally strong and having confidence is important. And Mitch is, continuing to work on that just like other guys we have here. But that is going to be important is not only the physical portion, but the mental portion and the confidence portion of making sure that you go out, every 5 days or every chance you get to throw the ball that you're in a state of mind like you're in that attack mode.
All right, Shelty, I'm hoping we can finish with free association, although this one would be in regards to some of your prospects. Are you game for that?
Let's go. This is my favorite part.
I told you it was his favorite part, Joe. I told you, Derek.
I know.
loved this.
I already knew that. This is what I'm hoping for here is just like a thumbnail sketch of where this guy is at and when we might see him. When we might see him. Are you ready?
Yep.
Henry Davis.
When we might see him, I think that one's a little too soon. I mean, this guy hasn't played a full year yet. The thumbnail sketch is really strong, really confident kid, hits the ball hard, has gotten better behind the plate in a short period of time, and has really exemplified confidence and some leadership skills in our minor league camp.
Quinn Priester.
Oh, continues to get better. I mean, we got the opportunity to see Q last year in some spring training games, and having been down here a little bit early, I've gotten a chance to watch his throwing bullpens and watch him throw live BPs, and this kid's growing into a man. I mean, he's 20 years old, continues to fill out, and a lot of positive signs from the work he put in this wintertime in terms of where he's going. So excited for how his winter development went.
Maybe next season?
Yeah, I think it's going to, in terms of timetable, let us get through the first half of this season to have a better idea on that.
O'Neal Cruz.
O'Neal Cruz, I mean, obviously we saw him at the end of the year in Pittsburgh and hit the homer and hit the single that was the hardest ball registered. I think O'Neal's going to have an impact on our major league club this year. To say when it is, I can't tell you that because we're day 2 of camp, but continues to get better, continues to work, not only offensively but defensively, and I think he's going to have an impact on our club this year.
What's his best position, Derek?
Well, his most natural position is shortstop. We are going to introduce some outfield stuff to him in spring training, and was introduced to him a little bit last year work-wise. The only position I've seen him play is short, so I think that's a to-be-determined thing. But he continues to progress at short. He did a nice job in the small stint, last year in the big league. So we'll continue to work at both of those, and I think we'll have a better idea as we get more work.
Derek, I need to apologize. I just got a dirty look for jumping
interrupting
into
the free.
Joe's
It's called
free
association for a reason, Ron. There's a certain flow to it.
I got the dirtiest look, but go ahead. I defer.
The last two, Shelty, would be Nick Gonzalez and, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Ronzi Contreras. Because some people think both these guys could be here this year at some point.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance we could see Roe this year. We saw him last year in the start at the end of the year. He obviously impressed. He pitched in the fall league, and just continues to get better. So we could definitely see Roe. With Nick, I mean, this kid can hit, and it was a really good draft for us. He had a good year last year. Went out in the fall league and continued to develop. So he's an interesting case of how rapid he's going to go. So this year is going to be probably, a very important timetable in terms of when he becomes an impact player in Pittsburgh.
Ron, anything to add to that? Any further questioning?
Nope. Just stay well, Derek, and we'll look forward to doing this again next Wednesday.
Sounds good. And the good thing is that at least you guys are giving dirty looks. You're in the same room now. That's important.
That is important. And I got a dirty when what are you doing interrupting me like that?
Thank you, Shelton.
That's great, guys. Well, good talking to you.
Have a good week, man.